Okay, I'm here now. Hello, everyone. Welcome. There's a bit of echo on. Okay, hello. Welcome back to Chris Warehouse. My name's Brogan. Today, we're back for another training stream. I've spent so long trying to sort out my PC. All right, trying to sort out everything I can. I don't know if it's too loud actually. Trying my hardest. All right, to sort my PC out. Sort the other streams out. But we're already down. We had two men. All right, we had two streams. We had two men in the war. One's already down. All right, we're on bit get. It's completely ruined. It's not working. So literally only on YouTube. I think I've sorted my PC. Hopefully, I pray we don't have another issue with just crashing and everything disappearing. So I touch wood. I fixed it. I guarantee there's going to be some issue. I've already had many issues. I've been live for 8 minutes. I've only just gone live now. It's like 7 minutes past 9. So many issues, but we're here now. All that matters. Okay, and it's a good day today. If we actually go on to Coin Market Cap, it's a good day. 113k right now. Actively moving. Max highs right now for Bitcoin. So absolutely great for Bitcoin. Obviously, different case for Ethereum and Solana, but still moving great. So, I won't lie and say, I know exactly where Bitcoin's going right now, because, we're in price discovery. It's not something I can just whip out a random number. I can give a educated guess, and I've just realized, actually, I've been on like different profiles on TradingView, so I've just realized what I've drawn on Bitcoin is actually on a different color scheme. So we might have switched that to talk about what I'm going to talk about, to give my best guess as to what I could maybe expect some highs to be if we are going to continue this move. Obviously, we'll talk about it when we get to the charts. Let me start my timer actually while I'm yapping. But I can kind of give a estimate, a guess as to where we could potentially see for our highs. But obviously with Ethereum and Solana, we've already got some predefined areas, which obviously we're going to talk about again, because a lot of this stuff, which I'm going to be talking about today for Ethereum and Solana, is going to be stuff I've talked about on the higher time frames of other streams. So it's not so much of things which are crazy and this the other, but 2800 is an area we have talked about before for Ethereum, and obviously Solana is at 160. I believe that is another area I have talked about not only now but quite a while ago. So again, it's going to be good to go over those. Very excited for Bitcoin. 113,676 right now, about 3.7% up a 24 hour, 3.4 on the 7 day. Again, we've literally just turned the tide of the 1 hour, so that would probably be quite an equative number as well to the 24 hour for most things, because again, everything's pretty much going up right now. Again, Solana and Ethereum, 2821 for Ethereum and 160 for Solana. So again, like I just mentioned, seeing areas we've already seen before. Kind of coming to these points I've talked about for a while now in terms of just resistance areas and longer term areas I had if we were to go up in the charts. Obviously we've been showing signs for a while now of turning the tide, if you will. It's been quite a while now. We've started to print some new highs, whether that be actual highs or candle bodies. We've been going for a while now, so obviously expecting some sort of move already from this. So I'm going to say hello to everyone. Shout out to you guys, Tariq, KB, Kishaf, thank you for being here. It's been such a rush one. I wanted to talk because the past two streams I haven't been able to stream. I haven't been able to sort the PC out. I've gone through everything I possibly can to make sure I was ready and it actually worked for this stream. Obviously, I haven't been on the... I've been on a while. This is a kind of not a prompt to stream. Again, I did want to do a stream today because of... the charts absolutely just flying up and Bitcoin going to 113k as we've seen. So I obviously did want to do a chart today out of any other days. The past two streams I haven't done. So hopefully everything's sorted. I've tried my best. Do want to reiterate that. So anyway, I've yapped. Let's go on to Bitcoin. So this is all the old charts we've already talked about with this red line and us shifting on over to being in a movement upwards. I will shift over to the other color scheme in a minute. If you've got, if you've like locked in on the screen, your eyes, irises have absolutely expanded. You're looking at this dark screen. Maybe close your eyes for 5 seconds. In a minute when I switch over to the light scheme. Just maybe wear some sunglasses because it will absolutely flashbang you in a minute. Also, I've changed mic settings. I don't know if it's bad or whatnot. That's okay. Heck up, thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, it's summer. It's you know what? I thought, okay, I've got a lot of hair. It's getting in the way. It's getting too hot. And I just wanted something a bit lighter. But like, you know what? You go to the mirror, in the morning and then in the afternoon, brush your teeth and whatnot. So the times I thought about it, the times you see yourself in a day, unless there's obviously external times from just walking around and seeing yourself in a reflection, you really only see yourself twice in a day, in the morning, in the afternoon. So the weighting of seeing yourself with a certain hair amount is grander than someone else. So it was a bit of a shift to have short hair like this, and it's been a long time since I've had a short hair. It's been quite a while, so my hairline has definitely changed over the while. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It feels freer, to be fair. But yes, thank you, appreciate it, Tariq. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I'm gonna go on to the light scheme in a second. Avert your eyes, in my flashbang you. But anyway, talking about what we have right now, absolutely pumped. Coming above some highs. Do you know what? I'm just gonna switch right now. It's a bit of a mess. I've been messing around. I know I like looking at lighter schemes. Okay, where's my chart? Oh, hold on. That wasn't it at all. Oh, I deleted everything. That's right. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to talk about some of these. Okay, there's a whole lot of stuff I've got to talk about. I like lighter mode. I just like looking at it. It's a lot easier for the eyes to see. It's like when you're writing something or writing, if you're programming or typing something in Word or whatever, seeing black text on white, it actually activates your mind in a different way than dark mode on light does. Even though, a lot of people use dark mode, obviously the shift over the past few years and whatnot. Dark mode's kind of the main thing. However, mentally, dark on light background's actually better for comprehension of certain things. So I just prefer sometimes having lighter stuff. So in my own personal, when I look at the charts, I look at the light mode. But obviously, I try to do the streams dark mode for people, because it's easier for people to see when they're further away from the screen. So that's the only thing. So hopefully you guys can actually see this. You will probably able to. So I will be quick on the light scheme. I don't have, again, we are in price discovery. We're in a period where obviously, 113652. Again, we've not seen these prices. We're not like super far away from, where we've seen previously, but I can kind of give my best guess with my own methodology as to where I could expect price to go. So what I want to say, I'm going to do it in stages, okay? So I want to explain my reasoning behind why I've got a mosquito about my arm. It's absolutely killing me. So if you see me do this, you know why. I want to kind of explain why I've got to this conclusion and what methodology I've used to do this. So there's a few ways people obviously do price, guesstimates or whatever, obviously projections and whatnot, and XYZ. Again, I don't know all of them, to be fair. There's only so many times in my life I'm going to see price discovery. So I don't have a set in stone idea, but obviously people do their own methods. Again, dependent on whatever they do. I've had my the Goldback levels quite a while ago. I was using it got quite messy on the chart. That's why I stopped using them. But obviously they gave 120k. 125 had 125 before. We've had 152. We've had certain levels. Previously based on certain ideas I've had and methods and what I draw on the charts. But obviously as of now, I'm trying out the kind of idea of standard deviations. Okay, now I have, and the reason why I'm showing a different area and not the high right now, I'm showing the actual previous move because I want to, I'm not like a salesman per se. I'm not trying to convince you that this is going to work. But I want to actually draw it previous, same as I've done with premium discounts. I'm drawing it and showing you guys on a on price action previously, so we can see how well it fares in again, obviously hindsight, all this sort of stuff. I'm going to be completely wrong. Oh, hindsight, this, that, the other. It's we're going to get to 115k. And we're going to dump all the way down. We're going to come right back down to 90k. All this sort of stuff. I get it. Okay. But I'm just gonna talk about it. Okay. So standard deviations. The methodology I've used to garner this, and this isn't, I've not made this up. This is people use this in their own strategies as well. This isn't some random thing. Basically, the idea is you take the last move, which so in this case, I think it's on a daily. Basically, you take the consecutive candles which produced a low or swept something or whatever. You can see obviously downtrend. produce a low, and then we began an uptrend. Basically, the idea is you take that swing, you take that movement, and then it projects the valuation. Whatever. It's hokey pokey. Okay. When it comes to trying to figure out, price discovery highs, there's not really. I mean, obviously, there's probably something you can look at, but there's only so much you can kind of mathematically figure out, and data point based systems. There's only so much you can do when it comes to price discovery. So again, it might sound crystal ball. Oh, I've taken the last swing before a pump, and I've got the standard deviations of that said value, and now here we go. Here's the high. I get it, but this is the best I got. Okay, so there's different levels. Obviously, there's different levels. Obviously we saw the it goes from 1 to 4 but the main area is the second 0.5 or 2.5. This kind of green area I've got labeled, and as we can see from this move, which span the move upwards and the pump, this whole thing here, until we start to see, again, since basically this period, at this price about 50k, whatever it is this low is, 49k, ever since that low, we had this move up, which continued up until. And again, if you consider this the low, but technically we have lows up here, and obviously we didn't really print past this low, to be fair. So we've still been in this process. But obviously we printed here, so it doesn't matter. Basically, since this low, we had this move upwards, okay, and that resulted in coming to this green area with this high. So if we kind of zoom into the high, we can see we did pretty well, And again, this is hindsight, whatever, this idea. Whatever. All right, let me breathe. Okay, this is just what I have to do. But hindsight, this or the other, this is a good price. If you were to backtrack this and replay it and go back to September 2024, whatever you want to go to, you would still be able to draw this. Again, this is drawn from this move during August. Okay, this isn't something drawn. Oh, I didn't draw this high at the 17th of December. Or the 16th of December, and then we saw it on the 17th hit the high. Okay, this is something projected from a period of movement from the 2nd of August 2024. And again, it's like, oh, how can you predict something from the beginning of August, which then plays out all the way up until December? Okay, this is again theoretical. Anything in price discovery is very theoretical. Again, there's you can look at it on the small time frame. You can look at reversal situations, market flow, premium discount. You can look at all these sorts of things, but once you're in premium, I mean, the idea is, okay, we're printing past these highs, we're going to be in an uptrend, obviously, especially on the daily. What we can do in our best guess is, this is not the, where is my thing? There it is. What we can do is follow it and follow the premium discount until we start to see reversals, and obviously go to a low time frame. Try and look for us to start printing negative and start to come into a downtrend, and then start to see a reversal towards certain areas. Okay, there's certain things we can do in that regard, but that's based on a movement which is coming from the highs. Okay, so it's not so much a thing where we're looking at where the high could be. It's more so once we see the high and we trail this high, where can we retrace to? Which is fine. Again, excuse me. Whoa, I need some water. It's fine, but again, that's something we it's only useful in 5 days or whatever it's going to be, how many days it's going to take, or how long we spend in price discovery finding our high. It's only useful when we start that retracement. So again, that's out the picture. We're not going to use that right now. So we're going to be using this methodology. I've yapped a lot. Let's jump on to the second one. Again, this is more a closer time frame thing as well. I believe this was also... So basically, this first one I was showing was mainly more for this first move we had up towards 106.5k. Coming from, obviously, the 5th of August area. The second one is kind of a re-up of that idea. Again, once we kind of came past and printed it in this downtrend, it was the same idea. We can see... we have this downtrend, we have this move, which brought us past this low, which is normal, but the resultant of this, you can see it displaced downwards, and then had this move up, and this move up, you can see, obviously, came up with this, and then we had this kind of really mediocre low, and then we continued the move up. So we had this low, and then continued all the way upwards, until we kind of had this high and whatnot, and we had quite a drastic move up, actually, from this low. So again, this is the last low. the last displacement below previous lows. Obviously, we're in a downtrend before we had that pump. So from this, we draw from the high to the low of this move, and then we kind of obviously project it forwards, which obviously gave us the 110,266 price. And to be fair, we did shimmy above it a bit more than it said, so it was maybe about 1,500. Quite, not super out, but decently out for that high. But again, it's one of those things. But you can cascade the idea. It's like, okay, we make this black so we can actually see it. It's like, okay, it gives reasoning. It's like, okay, cool, we have previous highs, and these aren't too far away. Because again, I say this, but the last high before we saw this was, this 73k position, and then we came up, 50%. But in this case, where we've had this high already, we've come, quite far down, and we're not in price discovery. In between a 74k and 108k, we've already had a high at 109k. So it's like, to see this entire move, we've had to have bullishness this entire time. So it kind of makes sense to say, okay, how much more are we going to see above 109.8 in this case? So it gave more confidence for it to be more so of a move above the high to collate these what could be resting above the highs to then kind of retrace a bit more. And you can see that kind of causes into this mini downtrend, which then we obviously had our process again, just normal price action here, and obviously now we're moving upwards. So just deleting this. So that's kind of the shorter kind of frame of what we have here. So now I can actually move on to what we have here. And again, this is now a bit, it's starting to get a bit, close together. The reason I have this, again, we have this move, not saying this is downtrend, but again, we have this based on candle bodies. Again, this is state more so rather than actual prints. You can see like the idea of highs and lows is you print through a high, but you can also kind of give that concept to the candle bodies as well, which is kind of state. So it's not guaranteed like, okay, yeah, we've done a low, we're guaranteed to do a high, all this sort of stuff. But it's kind of the same idea of okay, we have this high, then this high, and then obviously if you do candle bodies, you can see, okay, we printed through this, and then obviously it showed this process. We did a high or low, and then we actually printed through the high of this here, quite a bit after though. So it's kind of a precursor. Again, it's a bit faster. It's kind of a faster acting methodology of trying to see if you've done a new high or a new low. It's not more of a setting stone. Not saying printing above a high is a setting stone thing, but it's more of a faster kind of acting methodology of trying to see if you've again in this case, okay, we've printed above the high, we're continuing to go above where we're going to, and so on and so forth. So so in this case where we're kind of coming down again, we haven't printed above any highs. This is the last high, this is the high. Normal came below the low. This is kind of an interesting one as well. It's like, okay, we have this, but it depends on where you're looking. Again, obviously different time frames yield different highs and lows. So on a more wider kind of range, again for the swings anyway, it's like, okay, very drastic moves. These are where the moves are. So it's like, okay, unless we print past this, that's the range high, the range low, printing past this and all this sort of stuff. So it's more there's obviously internal range, and then there's the wider range. So again, there's these little highs here, which obviously we printed through this high. We kind of had we didn't even get above this high yet. So it's like, it's degrees of intensity, I suppose you could probably call it, but that doesn't matter. Okay, that's not what we're doing right now. It was just kind of showing the price action of what we've had so far in between, the last couple, week, 2 weeks, whatever it is exactly, we've had of this move upwards. But anyway, it's obviously now moving on to where we are right now with this move upwards. So again, I will say this explicitly as possible. This is not financial advice. I think I had this drawn somewhere. Oh, this is back here. That's the wrong thing. It's not financial advice. This isn't me saying we are definitely coming to 123k or whatever. We're definitely going to come to this price. Yada, yada, yada. We're guaranteed to come to this price. This is theoretical. This is a theory. Again, there's plenty of potential for us to, just come above these highs here. And, these equal highs, which I had drawn, to be fair. I think I had just drawn. I believe I talked about them or maybe even screenshot it. I think I'd probably maybe talk to Mike about the price action relatively close. Again, obviously, I haven't streamed the past two, obviously Thursday and Saturday, or Tuesday, Saturday, sorry, because obviously I was trying to sort my PC out. But I was very aware of these kind of relative equal highs here, this equal high as well. Again, this is a very strong area. This was definitely a very, very strong area. Very, very relatively close. Again, made sense. Again, where's the main area? Okay, 98k with this big low, or these kind of stacked highs. Because not only did we have that, we also had this high. All right. Oh, it's monitoring. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. We're back. Okay, so crashed. I don't know how long it's crashed for. The YouTube stream carried on running, so I've picked it up, but I've picked it up in a way where the chat won't appear on the screen. So what I could do is maybe put something there. I don't know what I could put there because there's this massive empty gap on the screen. I'll just leave it. Okay. So I don't know how long I was lagging. I'm gonna have my YouTube on the right open so I can monitor it. There we go. I have a genius idea. Watch this. Ready? Watch this. Ready? This is genius. Oh, boom. All right. And you know what this means? Wink. Squinch that down. Hopefully it'll auto what's it called? Scroll. Okay, that might look really messy. I don't know, but this is what we're gonna have to do for now. Unfortunately, seeing as though everything has crashed. Okay, so there's the chat for now. Best I got. Timer wise, let's just do like 30 minutes, or like, yeah, I started about 6 minutes in. I don't know who's still here. Let's start that. Okay, but we're situated, hopefully. I guess I'll just like put back again. Okay, I think we're fine. What's the... Okay, so there's people here. Good. No one's left. I don't know who's here. I don't know who's still here. I don't know who's left. I am going to continue. I don't know where I cut off. That's the problem. So some absolute saint can, tell me what was I saying? I think, okay, I'm just going to re-go over. I don't know if you guys heard me say, sorry for yapping. I'm going to continue on to actually talking about the deviations. I'm just going to talk about what I was talking about, which is where we can go to. And what I was saying before, hopefully, I don't know if it cut off before I said this. I was kind of referring back to January time or December time, I think it was, last year, when I was streaming with the Rangers and I was talking about Was it? Wait, hold on. Yeah, I think it was. I think we were here by the time I was talking about it. I think it was December last year when I was kind of talking about what I could expect into 2025. So I was kind of talking about what prices I could expect. I remember being on the monthly time frame for this, and I was kind of, thinking about what we could be doing price action wise and targets and whatnot. Because basically, I remember drawing this gap. Obviously, I had it like this at the time, but this is just what I'm drawing right now. Remember having this gap and be like, okay, cool, yeah, we've come above this high. We've come above this high. We've retraced into this gap, filled this, pumped upwards, obviously come above all these highs and whatnot. Produces this void area, retrace back into it, and then seeing highs. And it's the same concepts as what we've already been doing, which is basically following this up until we see it, and then retracing back down. But that's now. That's whatever. What I was talking about back in December time on the monthly was what prices I could expect us to come to, and basically, kind of my thoughts on what I could expect in 2025. And I think I explicitly remember one of my prices being about 125k. What we could actually put, I think I still got one of the ranges up. I haven't used them in a while. I think we were on this range. Oh no, I think it was this. I don't think I've got them shifted or anything. I think I basically had this whole thing, and it was obviously this equilibrium, it was this line, and then we had this value, which I think was about 125k. I don't think I was on the higher one. I'm pretty sure I wasn't. I'm going to go look at it though, just in case. Yeah, I wasn't. Obviously, yeah, this is when I got 154k. So this is basically how I got my prices, was from the ranges, just to see what could I expect for the prices. And funnily enough, the one of the standard deviations of this, as you can see on the -4 of this range, which is actually the relative range we've had recently, which is this range here with this whole move. To see the max pump of this range actually sits pretty directly on the range I talked about, obviously, back in January. So back in January, obviously, I talked about 125,774. Obviously, drawn this line inaccurately on this line, which is at 125,593. So very, very close there in terms of what I've already talked about, a few months ago. So, that is very nice to see. So then obviously showing this back down. And then this basically resides pretty much in the direct center of the 123 and 127 of what we have in the current range, which I've drawn these deviations on. So this is my longer term prediction. And again, I've already talked about this back in December. I think when we were talking about 90k, I think what it was for Bitcoin was, it wasn't that I know some people thought we were going to come past, I think people have been talking about, what was it again? I think it's coming past 74k. I think aiming for this gap down here. I think I've seen people talk about that. I think that's a bit much, in my personal opinion. I don't think we see 74k. I think the only reason I was really kind of aiming at looking at 90k was to obviously trail this high, see retracements past this low. Again, this is obviously we looked at this main one back here, which was, I think, obviously something like this basically. And what this was following this high. And I said this last stream, which was last I think it was basically last Thursday, but about a week ago, I believe. I might be wrong on that. Whenever I said it, it was basically looking at this move we had and how similar it was to the situation we had going on right now. And again, this would potentially completely contradict what I've been talking about in terms of my main highs aiming towards 123k. And again, what we need to remember about the ranges above us is I'm not saying since we've come above 113, or since we've come above 111k, 111.9, whatever it is exactly. Since we've come above that high, I then think this move is going to come above 127k or 125k. I'm not saying that. I'm saying now that we've seen this high, and it's showing signs that, okay, cool, since we've come past this high, we could have a massive area coming above here and then retracing massively and then pumping again. That's kind of the idea I have right now. I'm not saying we come to 125k, but it could be a very similar movement as comparison to last time, or not last time per se, but start of this year basically, which was very similar, where we had a big pump from a low point coming to a high, having retracement into some arbitrary area below us. Obviously in this case we nipped in, obviously we had these relative equal lows here, or this low especially, these lows, all these lows basically, mainly this low and this low, came past them both with this, and obviously had another pump, kind of shimmied above this high to an arbitrary value. And again, this was with actually, to be fair, this actually came above a bit more, but it came above the ranges. Let's hide that again. What is this? Wait, hold on, what's this I have drawn? Oh, okay. So yeah, anyway, obviously coming past this high, we've obviously come past a tiny bit more, not too much, coming past the high, and then we had this astronomical move down to the equilibrium, obviously aiming at what we could find in equilibrium, which was basically to fill this area below us. And then obviously we proceeded to then come past the high. So what do we have now? Well, obviously we have the low point, we have the move upwards, we have the void, which results in that move, very similar there. The void where the orders, the void where the orders are, where there could be potential. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on. Why am I so dark? Why am I so dark for? I just want to come and make sure. Maybe if I like do this on the camera, I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna leave it. I don't know what happened there, but as I was saying, potential points of interest, especially on the. What I was trying to say was a point of interest on the higher time frames, considering we're on the weekly, for the price to retrace back into these areas. And again, we had this whole area, we recovered the entire thing. Again, this is coming from a low point. So if we then look for the area in between this, we can see we were so close to filling this entire thing. And do you know what? I don't know if people said 169.5k, but I wouldn't be surprised if people talked about that. But obviously, considering that we did actually see, actually looking at this, we probably should have been looking at this low, because for the ranges you want the closest low, or in this case for a low to a high, you want the closest low before the move, basically the entire range. So this is actually the range, to be fair, now that I'm looking back on it, and it's actually a lot more accurate in terms of how close it came to the midline of this area. And again, this is like basically points below equilibrium. So again, very close, very close representation of what we have here. In terms of, move up, swingy ding, and then move down. Move up, swingy ding, move down, So that's where I'm not denying, I'm not, going, oh, guys, I'm wrong. I think, whether this could be cope, to be fair, this could be cope, but I still think there's potential for us to come up with this high, it be a longer term sweep, if you will, whatever you want to coin it, and then us retrace. What I'm actually interested in, to be fair, is looking at the retracement we had. Actually, doesn't matter. No, I was looking at standard deviation. I was thinking, it'd be really interesting if we came to the first standard deviation at 114 for the high, and then had this kind of basically boom, and then retraced past low, and then obviously pumped again. That would be interesting. Yeah, I think I still think this is in potential to do. I still think we're in this final stage of doing it. I mentioned this potential last stream, how long ago that was. I think it was, basically last week Thursday, maybe Tuesday. I don't know when it was. I think it might have been a Tuesday. I don't know when I last streamed, because again, obviously, I keep on freezing, and I thought I fixed it. I clearly haven't. I don't know. Let me make sure. Okay, I'm not frozen still. I don't know why it's still breaking. It is what it is. I'm just going to have to keep on trying until I fix it. But whenever the last stream was, maybe the stream before, I don't know exactly what time frame it was. It's been a while. I'm 20. I'm losing my mind. You know, I'm getting old. But I remember specifically talking about the idea that we could be in the process of doing this, but following pretty much like one-to-one of what we had here. And yeah, call it cope, whatever. Again, this is just my opinion, you know. So I still think there's potential. I know, again, there was a lot of people talking about, I know Mike was even talking about coming down to this area and seeing this, you know, whole move down. Again, last low before the move up. If we just follow this move, even if we, if we follow it exactly to 114k, it pretty much resides at 86k. And sitting in the area of interest, again, this is like, open 1, open 2, stop loss. It's kind of the idea of this is like, okay, you want to get in early or you want to make sure you have an entry. You sit it here. Again, this is kind of void null type of ideology where it's like, oh, well, it's just percentages. I don't care. I'm using this. This is how I've looked at it. And then obviously coming past the high that sits here. This is what you'd have it sitting as. Or if you want a really deep pinpoint, you do it there. But, whatever. You want to make sure basically stop loss is within this optimum range of where you want to get into. But this resides in this candle, which we've talked about. Again, I talked about 90k. 89,819 is basically where it would be sitting. If our high was here... Oh, no, actually, to be fair, it had to be higher. But within this range, I'm going to sit it at 114k. For now, 148 actually, to be fair, but it's sitting basically in this 90k range we talked about last stream. We talked about this a few times. So I'm very interested to see if we have this and follow along with what we have here to see if we have this short. If we go to lower time frames and we start to see moval downwards to come past this area, come past this high, come past this move upwards, that's probably what I'd be looking for. If we have our idea on the high time frame and have this bias again, I don't want to trade against the trend per se, but at the same time, it's like I want to trade the pattern of the market, and it could potentially be this move. I don't want to say this is an arbitrary move down due to external political factors. I'm trying to avoid this move, in terms of this being a one-off. I don't necessarily think it is. It's mainly, if we look back, there's only a certain amount of data. I was trying to consider what it could be else in terms of a downtrend before. This is obviously move up, downtrend, move up. Again, this is like really clear cut. Very similar to this, move up, downtrend. It had a big dump though, and then move up. Could we have the same? I'm just trying to avoid it. I don't think so. That's my kind of opinion on Bitcoin, though, to be fair. But it would then be me looking at coming to here. This is very similar to what we had here, actually, in terms of having a consolidation, and then obviously having us come into this consolidation, and then having this move low here, and then obviously having this. So it's consolidation expansion, and then this could come into reversal or retracement. So this is the idea of coming into retracement being, very similar to what we had back here. I remember talking about this on 15 minutes, but obviously we have it on this 1 hour. I think you can see here with this move in terms of having this expansion above the highs, coming into this whole void area, and then obviously coming down to this area. Obviously, this is the print, to be fair. It depends on where you draw this, I suppose. It's like, okay, this pretty much fills the entire gap, but I have this drawn here. Very similar scenario, again, with this whole move here. You can kind of gauge the range we have with this kind of whole area, this clear-cut move out of this expansion. In this case, we had retracement, and we didn't have reversal until we came to a position of doing these equal highs, which is very, very nice. And obviously in this case we had you could probably go to the low time frames and see this as well, but obviously we had this CISD, whatever you change the state of the low, whatever you want to term it, where we didn't print past the low, but we did on the candle bodies, which kind of gave a precursor to this move down, and then basically obviously followed through with this, and then obviously then had this reversal. So Okay, I'm back. I'm faster at that now because I'm prepared. I really don't. I thought I don't know. I really don't know. I guess I'll go back to the drawing board in terms of fixing it. I've caught. Thank you, KB, obviously messaging. Caught that fast. I was watching the chat. Caught that fast, thankfully. So I wasn't yapping, and it was like left to be left to be nothing. I'm just kind of watching this. I remember looking at this 5 minute actually. I think I looked back here actually. The 5 minute. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I think for me, what I would watch for now would definitely be I think it's so obviously jumping from expansion. It would then be retracement or reversal. I don't think it's reversal. Again, reversal is like when you obviously see reversals, it's more of a sweep. On a high time frame, we'd see a wick above a high. So I think in this case, it's not so much of a reversal. I think it's retracement. So I think we're going to continue this uptrend. I definitely do think we would start to see some bearishness and probably watch to see if we have a candle body print through one of these wicks. And again, this is 5 minutes to be fair. So I'd probably want to look on this case. So in this case, it would be, to be fair though, in this whole thing, I definitely think I'm on Bitstamp. Am I supposed to be on Bitstamp? No, I don't think I am. There we go. Yeah, this is what I was looking about. Yeah, okay, so going back to this anyway. So I think what I would, again, watch for would definitely be printing through this. Again, on the 5 minute, we can probably see it a bit closer. Obviously, I already drew this in terms of looking at... We filled this pretty nicely. We filled this very, very nicely. Obviously, this is obviously isn't downtrend per se. We actually want to look mainly at coming to fill these areas. Obviously, we're actually already filled this area really nicely with this. Yeah. Anyway, I think we probably would have retracements now. Again, I think we're going to come into this area a bit more. So it'd then just be watching to continue to do that. Obviously, we kind of came to the midpoint of this area. Obviously, it came up. It didn't allow us to do this high or anything. But obviously, we have these main areas, as we cascade downwards to focus on. But as we see it right now, what I think is going to be the main focus, as I've said multiple times over. Obviously, we've had external range. I think now is the aim for this move above external range is definitely going to be internal range. And for me, that's literally clear cut these gaps. We had the exact same scenario. It's no different to this move we had back here with these gaps coming from this consolidation area, coming to this gap here, moving upwards with this whole move. With this entire range here, coming to this area, coming up again. And then obviously in this case, and then obviously we followed this, and this is I've already just drawn this, following this print through here. This is probably what I'd want to watch for, because again, yeah, we can have candle prints, but it's like it's very latent. It's like even this being the low, this is waiting for this candle. This is instead of you looking Monday morning for this candle body print, you're then looking at 1 to 2 p.m. to then actually start to see this downtrend. And before that, you've already seen these candles move down. So, and in this case, you see this, to look for an entry then would be, where am I? Here we go. Well then, okay, cool. We've had this wick past, you can see candle body, where are we? Yeah, it would be, wait, what? Hold on. Oh, yeah, right, that makes sense. Yeah, candle body's on the 1 hour. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, on the 15 minute, it would be, hey, it does that. Here we go. So it'd be same thing here. It was like, okay, we'll come past this low. Last bearish candle before this move up. It would then be, okay, we're in a downtrend. I'm not looking for support in a downtrend. Obviously, swept that, came down. Probably looking to enter if we actually come to use it. It would then be, let me go to push, here we go, so I can actually draw it out. And then you can see we've kind of had this this bottom out. It doesn't really matter what the bottom out is. It would then be for me to wait to see if we come past this and reverse it, and then enter back into it and then come down. I'm just kind of yapping here what I would be looking for, to then actually look to compare this to what we have now, which is very, very similar. It would be looking at this current move we have. probably going to a higher time frame to see if we have a print past a low, which obviously in this case, we've literally just had this print. So we'd have to wait for it. I do think we have this retracement. So for me, this would be then looking at 50-minute to 5-minute and whatnot, and then looking to see if we continue downwards, which is what we have right now. What we haven't done a low yet. We've just done a lower high. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to do a low, at all. It could necessarily mean we've if we do this kind of intermediate gap. And to be fair, this isn't a very good gap. We've already had this massive move back into this candle. I don't think this area would be major support. I would be more looking to aim at this midpoint area with this previous high, midpoint of this entire move. I'd mainly be aiming for there instead. But regardless, I would be aiming to retrace a bit more, but not saying we haven't quite done that yet with this move. On the 5-minute, and if we try to start to look at the 1 minute, it's like we have started to kind of not have that. Obviously, we had this downtrend move. Again, we're on the 1 minute. What am I talking about? We're on the 1 minute here. I don't know why I'm bothering with that. Again, swing high to swing low. It's the same thing we looked at on the 1 hour, basically like 50 minutes ago, whatever it was. Obviously, we have these swing high to swing low, which obviously we could be focusing on, but obviously we have these internal areas to obviously kind of actually give a guide on for our mind. Yeah, I'm yapping now. That's what I'll be looking for. I'm yapping. Let's actually, I know it's just on 10 o'clock. I'm going to give myself, we've got 3 minutes. Okay, actually, I just realized. Actually, do I have anything on Ethereum? On this, I don't think I do. You know what I'll do? I'll quickly redraw it all, because I think I remember exactly what we had. It was basically this whole range here. It was this gap for this move down, and it was kind of looking at this area, especially coming into this gap, looking at to fill the entire thing here. It depends if you go off candle wicks as well. We have this whole thing here, looking to. I'm not gonna draw that. This is what we had drawn. We were aiming. We had this previous area coming back into this gap as well. I'm gonna do the candle bodies again. Obviously came back into this, had these highs. We've already talked about that. We talked about this whole area here we had. Obviously, it was actually in this candle where we had this midpoint. But here we go, actually. I don't want to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. Yeah, so now we can actually draw this properly. With this, as we can see, if we shimmy that across, we can see the nice midpoint. We haven't quite come past this, but we're very close. We're clearly aiming for it, and I think we can continue to do that. Clear uptrend. Even if we go to lower time frames, it's like we've had print above this high. We've had these higher lows. Candle body wise, hopefully, am I still going? Okay, I'm good. We're still in this uptrend, so I still think we're aiming for that as we continue to go upwards. We're still doing really well in right now for Ethereum on the lower time frame, 50 minutes. Going back to the daily now though, but I still think we're aiming for this high, even if we could probably go further than that. Again, it's like there are periods where we come to equilibrium, and a lot of the time it's like you just sit and wait until you come to equilibrium, and you go to like obviously this is the weekly, so you go to like 1 hour daily, maybe 4 hour. You look for that reversal until you come back down again. Or the perfect area to really focus on would be into this area, which is again 3050 and whatnot, aiming to there. But it's like in this case, obviously we did have that consolidation, but in this case it's kind of the same thing of a consolidation, where we kind of have this whole we had this whole kind of consolidation area with these. I think I had this drawn on my other charts, with this whole consolidation which came past this here, had a pump which then brought us to these equal highs, and then brought us back down to then come to fill this area. And then we're now aiming, okay, cool, internal range. Now we're aiming for external range. I think we're easily coming to this high. What this also could mean is probably coming into, trying to aim to come into this midpoint on the daily as well, about 3050 as well. So I do think we are aiming towards coming up into this area for Ethereum. I think what's a very common denominator between everything right now is or common movable pattern, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Bitcoin obviously in price discovery versus Solana and Ethereum, but I think equally is what we're doing right now is getting very close to the period where we're aiming to see a high. In Bitcoin's case, obviously seeing the maximum high we'll see for Bitcoin, or not max high, but the new high we will print. In Ethereum's case, coming into this sell area from this whole move down, coming into 3,069, interesting, important area, point of interest, if you will. Obviously, if we draw this kind of whole range in between these two green candles from this downtrend, because obviously in the wider range we have the external are the lows because we're in this downtrend. So the internal is going to be the gaps we produce. So obviously in this case, it's the whole thing on the way down. It's like the whole thing is kind of like looking to see whole gap midpoint, continue downwards. Same thing here. We have this we have this area. Got a place. We have this area. You can see we come towards midpoint area, continue downwards again. It's very cascading. Same thing here. In between this candle and this candle, whole gap here, came to midpoint, came down again. So it's like the whole idea is. I'm drawing this one. There we go. So this gap here, obviously in this case, you can see we reversed this and then used it. Obviously in this case, I'm not saying obvious, but for this, it's like, okay, we also have to pay attention to what we're doing on the wider range. Because it's like, yeah, okay, you can trade the trend downwards, look for them reversals back into or retracements back into these gaps. But it's also paying attention on the higher time frame where we're focusing on previous lows for that external range. I don't know why I'm giving this talk. I should probably just look at there we go. So in this case, it's like, okay, well, obviously we didn't hit this one, but on this case, again, focusing on that external range where we have that sweep. So this entire time on the daily, we're coming back into these gaps, coming down, coming back to the gap, coming down until we hit that low, which then gives us that external range, and then gives us that wider time frame reversal, which it's fractal in the sense that on the lower time frames, we're currently doing what we're doing on the higher time frame, just faster. So in this case, on the daily, we're in an uptrend, we're doing this move. But on the weekly, we're just doing what we've been doing on the daily, which is this whole retracement period. Whereas on the weekly, we've only had this first retracement now, where we're retracing into these gaps, especially this one. We've already had this gap where we've already came in. You can see, like, if we actually draw it, we've had this gap, we've filled it. Obviously, in this case, we aim for these highs as well. We've filled this gap. If you look at the candle bodies, again, this is the weekly as well, so there's more room for these wicks. Filled this whole, spiel, came back down. Obviously, in this case, we started to produce our own internal range because, again, we're starting to print above these candles now and start to come upwards on the weekly. Again, going to the daily, we're in this uptrend. So the next one to aim for is definitely this gap. And then from there, we don't have anything. So definitely looking at this gap in particular, which resides at about 3,072, which is also the area above equilibrium, which would then give us a good, it makes sense because it's like, okay, we're now starting to come into a premium where we have retraced into internal range to then start to aim for external range. So I think we're still on this cusp of this down move. We're just seeing our highs now. And I was saying for Ethereum, I wasn't convinced we had this high for this 2,850 area. I said this maybe 2 streams ago, I don't know exactly, maybe even last stream as well, where I was saying I'm not fully convinced we have seen this high be this one on the 9th of June. Since we've retraced into this buy area, I do definitely think we could come up again and then actually officially come into this gap and start to see 3,000 for Ethereum and then dump. So again, that's what's playing out. Same thing I said with Bitcoin, where I wasn't convinced we were having that move down. I was obviously talking about it on last stream before that. I have been talking about this 90k move, but obviously the main thing I was focusing on was comparing this move to last move, which was, again, as we've already seen, this move like that. And we're doing the same thing. We're doing this right now. So, it's kind of that idea of, are we going to do that again? Again, we're in price discovery. It's hard to tell. But with Ethereum, I do think we're starting to retrace into that area for the sell area. focusing on $3,000 for Ethereum. Really quick to go on Solana. I know I've kept you guys for quite a while. Again, we've had these lags, we've had these kicks. I'm going to do a really quick TA again. Very similar idea for this. I'm going to go to the daily actually to see. Yeah, okay, this is, again, the last high before. Well, I suppose we could do this last high before the move down, and obviously the last low being here. There we go. So you see, obviously, coming to this equilibrium area, obviously these equal highs, as we've seen before, where we've obviously had this retracement. Going to the weekly, again, not in a very similar scenario, kind of a similar scenario, where we've... sorry, I'm just going to draw this. So it's a similar scenario where we've had this gap. Obviously, we had this this order block down here. But before we had that, we obviously had this gap area. Again, the kind of intermediate areas. If I go to the daily, it probably look a bit better. It's actually not better in the slightest. But kind of what I would probably want to look for is actually this area here, this one in particular, which actually we literally just worked into it because obviously main move. Now we're starting to produce the internal range because obviously we've had this. This with this high here, I know I'm talking about tier we've already talked about, but we've had this, we've printed above it here. So now we're starting to come into this uptrend. So now it's looking to, once we have that max high, to retrace into internal range to then see external range again. So with this, it was definitely this gap. You can see we used it here, wigged back into it. But also what we have here on the way up is we also have this area, which obviously we have this print out. We kind of wick past it though. That's the concerning part. But what you probably do with this is have your let's pretend this is long. You'd have the stop loss below the low, and then obviously aiming for high. So either this high or this high. Obviously in this case, if it was this high, you would obviously have got out. This high, we're still yet to see that yet. Again, I'm not whatever. That's just old TA. Looking at new TA now. Well, it's not the same as Ethereum, in the sense that we're really close to this high. Again, this being the previous high. In terms of looking at what we have here, we have a really nice gap basically residing at this 705, but it's not very good. This whole move down, it's not great in terms of looking at gap areas. The only gap we have is looking at the last bottom of this candle. Basically, the idea is for these voids is you look at the bottom of the last up close candle before the move down, and then the first up close candle. And we've already filled it. We've already had this fill. So, actually, I'll leave that on the screen. That's just quite nice. Yeah, we had the order block. I already talked about that. I'm actually going to go back to the daily and keep this gap I drew here for this bottom, so we can actually look at it and see this area. And then obviously we can come upwards. So again, we've had this internal range. We've had this higher low, and again, a higher low doesn't necessarily mean we'll do a higher high, but definitely on the lower time frames, we've had this uptrend currently right now to definitely start to aim for highs. So definitely this high. We've already started to come past this high, which is here, but definitely aiming for this move upwards. And again, I think Solana has a lot more to move than Ethereum and Bitcoin. Ethereum is very close to its high, which is near 2,850, whatever it was, or whatever it was exactly, and obviously $3,000. Obviously, Bitcoin's in price discovery. In Solana's case, we're still decently low, though. Definitely looking for this this high again, $168. I think I remember talking about $160 being a main area, yeah, we do also have on the way down from here. We have this gap, which you can see we printed that here really nicely as well, coming up to there. So we don't actually have this gap anymore. So I definitely think, it's not like, we could fulfill more, but you can see in here, this is definitely the void area. But in this case, you don't really have that here. So I definitely think we'll come past this. I don't think we'll see a close high at $168. I definitely think we could continue upwards a bit more. So then what we would probably be looking for, we have a rejection block here, 180. I think what we could be doing is aiming for equilibrium again and retracing back upwards on the lower time frame and continuing on upwards to try and aim for this $200 area. And again, I remember talking about $220. We have 218 at this 705 mark. I think that'll take too long. I don't think we'll reach that. I think best case scenario, we start to see $182 back at this equilibrium area. I don't necessarily think we'll see any new highs for Solana. It depends on what Bitcoin does. I think Bitcoin could probably come to 114k, see that standard deviation high. I think Ethereum's case could see $3,000 very soon, see that high as well. And then I think across the board, we should probably see that retracement. Solana's case, aiming for lows, we are in downtrend. Ethereum's case, aiming for lows, we're in downtrend. Bitcoin's case, aiming for internal, which is the 90k gap we have, and then continuing upwards. So that is what I have right now, $182. That's my overall on the charts. 40. I started the stream maybe 8 minutes past 9 because obviously I had some things to sort out. Not bad. I think that's not bad. It's frozen. Oh my god, it's frozen. It's frozen. You're fine. Oh, thank the Lord. Okay. You know what? I think what happens is I think the camera freezes, and you know what? Let me just hide the camera. It's the outro. Let's just leave it. I think what happens. I think the camera trips my streaming application because I stream. Oh no, actually no, that doesn't make sense. No, because when I freeze, you guys can see the whole thing freeze. But I think the camera trips it. I think when the camera freezes and I goes to change it, the whole thing freezes. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try to sort it out for next stream. I thought I sorted it. I thought I changed the settings on my my camera app thing. Clearly not. So again, back to the drawing board of that. But now I can do the outro. Thank the Lord. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of my overall. I don't think it's too bad considering we had freezes and whatnot. Pretty much an hour on the dot considering. So you know, I try my best. But appreciate you all for being here. I know I kind of carried away because I continued to do my light theme, even though I have my TA on the dark theme, but whatever, you know, I like deleting TA on my charts because it gets a bit messy. Yeah, it was nice to see Solana in a new breath of fresh air. Obviously, currently hitting that $160 mark right now. Literally just came past this high, but it doesn't matter. Whatever. I'm not doing TA anymore. Doing the outro. So appreciate you all. Nishan, waiting for Bitcoin position to enter. Yeah, I definitely think. Obviously, you know, to see a new high, and this is like in an uptrend, it's like, okay, you know, it's like once you've done this, it's like once you, okay, that's pretty drastic actually, to be fair. So it's kind of like, I guess that it's like once you see past that external range, it's like you're then aiming on the lower time frames or whatever time frame. It's like once you've seen that confirmation that you've had that high, you're then, what are you looking for then? You're looking for that move down. So you know, it's the delineation between this move and this move, you know. So it's like it's that, not gamble per se, but it's like, okay, you don't want to trade against a trend, you want to continue that uptrend, but you do want to be, you know, bearing in mind on the higher time frames what could show that move down, you know, that reversal on the high. So again, pay attention to that. But yeah, again, it's once you've seen past that high, if you're in an uptrend and you've gone to external and you've gone past that high, the two things you're looking for is a lower time frame or a relative time frame low. Let me a day. If you're on the weekly, daily, 1 hour, whatever, you're aiming for looking to see if you have that reversal, but also looking for where you could stop the move down per se. So you know, it's like if you're in this uptrend, it's what's in here which stops you moving. You know, so obviously in this case, it's like, you know, these gaps, for example, and whatnot, order blocks, whatever you want to, you know, look at. Which are support or resistance, is then what you look for. So that's the same thing on Bitcoin. It's the exact same thing. No matter if you're in price discovery or not, it's the same thing. Same thing with Solana in downtrends. Same thing with Ethereum in downtrends. It's like we've seen past this low. We've confirmed in this downtrend. What are you aiming for after this low? It's something within this last move you've had which stops you from moving upwards. Which in this case, again, this is some new tech I'm looking at, which is a new way of looking at the voids. Again, you've got individual candles for the gaps, but you also have voids, which is basically the low of the up close candle, the first one before the move down in this kind of, where's my thing? There it is. In this sweep, but also this move. Also, wait, hold on. Yeah, I don't like this. Sorry, this is off topic. I don't know, you guys using TradingView. Obviously, I know KB, you're here, and the rest of you who use TradingView often. I don't know if I'm a fan of this. Okay, because if I hold the screen and I try and move it and I'm moving slowly, I don't like that at all. I really don't like that. But whatever. But yeah, obviously I'm fine. I know I'm finalizing, but yeah, I'm yapping. I know I am. But yeah, this internal range, and then aiming for coming down here. But yeah, yapping. Bitcoin aiming for a move down soon. And it just makes sense. I mean, it's not like I'm saying anything crazy. If you're in an uptrend and you've done a new high, it's like if you've done a new high, you're aiming for that move down. It's you know, it's just normal. So we'll see. We will see. Solana teaching on that 160 level, which we mentioned in the intro. So excited. But we will see. I'm going to try my very hardest to stream on Saturday. I do think Saturday we will have enough time in between now and Saturday to potentially see some results of what we have today. So I'm going to try my hardest to see what the issue is with this stream freezing stuff. I really don't know what it is. I've tried to fix it, but oh, Danny was here. I didn't even see the message. Apologies, Danny. I don't know if you're still here. Thank you for joining the stream. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem is. I've tried to fix it. The camera froze is where I went. So yeah, I've tried to fix it. I don't know what the issue is. I'm going to try again. Hopefully fix it by Saturday. If not, I'll just have to keep on my toes and make sure I restart the stream every few times to make sure I'm actually talking to you guys. I'm not talking to a brick wall. So I've spoken a lot. Okay, we've been live for a while. How long have we been live for? Will they actually tell me on YouTube? I don't know when I wanted to know the actual exact time. It's been about an hour and 6 minutes. So again, a bit over, not too bad. So again, thank you guys for spending your precious time with me. Appreciate you all for being here. I'm very interested to see what Bitcoin does. Let's see. Obviously, let's see. Could the high be soon? Is the question. I think is what I'm curious about. Obviously, I know the main thing I want to point out before we end the stream. Obviously, that is standard deviations. It's theoretical. I'm not saying we're going to hit 114k and see a high. It's just a theory. Okay. I tried to give a bit more. I tried to give reasoning to my high. Obviously, looking at these standard deviations we had with this one. I'm just kind of going to group this quickly, and then obviously go back onto this. Obviously, I tried to give reasoning with this. Obviously, we've seen. We saw one have difficulty. We've seen one here have difficulty in this on the weekly, by the way. And obviously, the idea is we see a bit of difficulty at one. So will we see 114.8 as resistance? We will see. We will see. So thank you guys again. I promise I'm doing the outro now. This is the outro. I've done the outro 3 times now. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you all. I will hopefully be back Saturday with a fixed stream. I've tried. I don't know what it is. Okay. Appreciate you all. See you on Saturday. See you in Telegram. If anything really critical happens, I will try and post in Telegram. But until then, appreciate you all. Have a great rest of the Thursday afternoon. Have a great Friday. Have a great Saturday. Yeah, I'm yapping. Goodbye. Appreciate you all.